And let's hear from Nora, then Chris, then Kathy, then Annette, and then Mr. Big Mouth.
All right, Big Mouth.
Go from Big Mouth. Okay, Nora time.
You want, okay. I am happy for it passing for one reason. I have been a surgical assistant in the operating room since 1964. I was very thankful that up at Allegheny General, they saw to it that I would go to school to become a surgical technician. I was a unit clerk, but I saw the medical system as a unit clerk and what was needed for the poor on the 5th floor, for the very rich on the 14th floor, and from the 9th up to the 10th floor, they were hardworking steel workers in that. And so I knew what the insurance was because I had the charts and I was the clerk on each floor. And it was cruel on the 5th floor of how patients could not receive the same things that were received on the 12th and the 14th floor. But I am still thankful that we have Allegheny General, because Allegheny General has endowments that help the ones who did not have the needs to meet. We still have a long way to go. My mother right now cannot even afford a hearing aid, and even though she pays $300 every other month through her Highmark, she still not can afford the hearing aid that's $2,000, and so it sits waiting for her to get the money up. And even though she worked 20 years at the city of Pittsburgh, her health insurance and the extra money that she pays cannot pay for her hearing aid. But due to all these people fighting hard for us, especially Al, maybe this hearing aid will now be able to come on the Medicare and the Medicaid. So I'm happy to see it pass. I know there'll be more fighting and more lobbying. And I am thankful for our hospitals around here in Pittsburgh, because we have some of the finest in the world. You have to step outside of Pittsburgh to know this. So I will put and salute my University of Pittsburgh, Allegheny General, all of our hospitals throughout Allegheny County. And I just want our two honorable men, which is Jack Wagner, Dan Onorata. They're running for governor. We know that they will get in office, either one, who are fine men on our city councils as they were. And I want them to fight hard with you, Al, and I want you to ask them about health care. Can you do that?
I will, but I have a question. You said they're running for office.
Oh, no.
You sure they're running for office?
Don't do that.
I thought maybe they were campaigning for office.
Thank you.
I ain't seen none of them running yet.
I've never seen them run.
Don't you think that since we keep saying the term people are running for office, don't you think maybe we should put them like on one of the tracks and actually make them run, and whoever wins the race gets to be in?
How did you get to be so sharp at everything?
Hey, man, I keep a little knife in my hand. I don't know. All right, I think we got Chris Weiss here. But I never seen him running for office. All right, all politicians out there in TV world, from now on, if you're going to use the term, I'm running for office, start running. So start getting in shape. Come on, you got to start running for office. That's right. See, if I ever campaign for office, I'm going to be sure to say I'm campaigning for office, because I ain't going to do no running. I got a little bit of tummy here, you know what I'm saying? I ain't running for office. You want to run? Start running. And now back to Chris.
One thing is, before the health care bill passed, Medicare would pay for smoking cessation classes. And now that Medicare has dropped the smoking cessation classes from their benefit package, now if people want to take smoking cessation classes, the majority of those people will have to pay it out of their own pocket. And Mercy Behavior, because Medicare no longer pays for smoking cessation classes, 25 people lost jobs at Mercy Behavior. And some agencies were able to transfer staff at different positions, but being that these were just priority, was just smoking cessation, and they dropped the Medicare dropped it, these people were out of jobs. And the other thing I wanted to mention about with the health care bill is next year, people receiving Medicare will get $250. And then the year after that, which would be 2012, people that have Medicare and would pay for it out of their own pocket, their prescriptions will be half the cost. But it's crucial that people go out and vote, because if the Republicans would control both houses, they're talking about overriding the health care bill.
Well, actually, Chris, there are some corrections to that. You are correct on some things, but you have the years incorrect. But I will fix that. Well, first of all, we have to, are you completed for this particular? Okay, for this session. Now we're going to go to Kathy, and then Annette, and then I will get back to clarify some things. And it may very well be that I did not communicate it to you all that well. I just recently, last night, about 4 a.m., I was up doing some research and I learned some extra stuff. So let's get to Kathy Payer. Thoughts on what's going on? And I now have a comment on this smoking cessation thing you brought up. I have a little bit of chastising to do, I guess.
Well, I just wanted to say about the health care plan that they got going on now, that they got the
Passed the health care law.
Yeah, the law passed. I just hope that it helps cover dentures too, because Mom just recently lost a tooth out of her denture, and I'm not sure how much it's going to cost to get it fixed, but I know it's going to cost pretty much. And with some of her medications, it would have to be paid on too, and the money for the $250 would help out a lot for her. So I'm just glad that they did pass the law and they go through with what they're going to do. That's all I have to say for now.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get you some questions.
Yeah, I know you will.
Gracie Allen.
I know.
Now, it's very important, before we get in that in there, yes, I am a professional. Yes, I am, quote unquote, a journalist and a host. But I like to tell the story, get tough, but still have fun. And Gracie Allen was a very, very famous comedian in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Her husband was the late George Burns. And Gracie Allen, George Burns would end the show by saying, "Say goodnight, Gracie." And instead of saying goodnight to the audience, she would just say, "Good night, Gracie." So I tease Kathy a little bit about that. And we like to have fun. But now it's time for me to shut my gums again, and we're going to put Annette on stage here.
Well, I'm happy they passed the health care bill, and we worked really hard to help get it passed, and we used all our efforts, and so it's a victory for us. And it was a close call there with the Republicans rejecting it, and I'm just glad that people that were opposed to the bill were overridden and they passed it instead. And now people will get the coverage that they need. And unfortunately for those before who couldn't get the health care bill to help them, we'll keep them in our memories, and we'll see to it that the people who survived get the coverage that's necessary for them to survive. And that means a lot of children will be covered. And that's very important because children are our future. And that's all I have to say.
All right, I want to make an important comment. You know, we do need to point out the facts about how out of all 219 Republicans, if you count both chambers of the United States Congress, 178 Republicans in the House voted no against saving American lives. We have to point out the fact that in the United States Senate, 41 Republicans voted no against